Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Another man doesn't stop you from getting a woman. Doesn't stop you from getting a woman. Because one of the things I see out here in the world, too many men are complaining about Chad and Tyrone or Pookie and Ray Ray and all of that. And they exist. You get some real handsome men out there. You get some thug men out there. You get women going for those type of guys. Or even a guy because he's 6'3" or something like that. Okay, and they exist. So what? So what? What that got to do with you? Like, just wish them luck and everything. And the reason I'm saying that is, as a man, you gotta get your stuff together. And you can't worry about what type of women are going for whatever man. Because yeah, you've been rejected, but you know what? Every man on this planet has been rejected. You know what? If you actually talk with a guy you might consider a Chad, somebody's rejected him. Or a guy who might be considered a Pookie or Ray Ray has been rejected. I've known some guys who would be considered like, some thug hood and trailer park, whatever type of dudes, complaining because some woman's going to reject them. Because what do I say constantly on here? There are a lot of things women looking at when they look at a man. Yeah, they looking at his looks, but then they also looking at what he does for a living. They looking at his social class. They looking at his religion. They looking at his race. They looking at his clothes, the style of clothes he wears, everything. And they gonna like some men, they gonna like some other men. They gonna dislike some other men rather. And you know what, whatever. But don't look at that other man like, oh, he's getting all the women. No, he's not gonna get all the women. I don't care. I always talk about going into a room full of 100 women. And you might have a guy who gets 70 of them. Okay, that's cool. What about the other 30? And really, in that room, if you just get one, shoot, you're doing good. And you might get that one. You might be I've talked in the last few weeks about being some nerd type of dude. There's a bunch of nerd type of women. There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of nerdy women. I was just at the comic book store. I usually go through with my sons and everything on weekends and everything. They checking out. My youngest son, he likes videos and stuff like DVDs. They got some used DVDs there, right? But check it out. Every single Saturday I go through. Every single Saturday, there's a bunch of nice young ladies. There's a bunch of young ones. It's either a couple or a bunch of young ladies. When I was walking out, there were like 4 young ladies coming in. They giving my sons this type of look. I was like, yeah, go ahead. I want to stay a little bit. They were like, nah, but they're all right. I was like, okay, fine. But look, here's the thing. Whatever you do, see, as a man, you gotta focus on building yourself. Don't worry about it. Your only competition is in the mirror. You don't worry about that. For every type of man, there's some type of woman that wants him. It could be some nerdy type of woman. It could be some woman who wants some like hood dude. Could be some woman who wants some upper class dude. The first thing is figure out where you are. What's your lane, first of all? What is your lane? Your lane might not be like some Instagram baddie or TikTok baddie or whatnot. Okay. It might be some nerdy girl. It might be some awkward girl or something like that. Okay. That clink's still tighten on you. You could be real religious. You could be into the church, mosque, synagogue, whatever. Hole on the ground, circle in the woods, something like that. There's some women who are into that. Look, as a man, first figure out who you are. That's the most important thing. Because what do I always say? If you are rejected by 20 women, the only thing they had in common was you. The key to any man, I don't care who he is, getting a woman is first looking in the mirror and then figuring out what he trying to do with life, what he trying to do, what mission he's on, and then figuring out where he is. And then once you figure out who you are, you can figure out which women going to like you. Like I said several times, I'm known for being a writer. That's still my main thing, despite these videos I do. That is still my main thing, writing. And I remember when I first started writing, there were some women who didn't like it. Okay, fine. I didn't lose sleep. But then the women who did like it, very attractive. Like to this day. Like one woman who, she's in her 50s now. She's the first woman to really support what I was doing and everything. You know what? She is still fine as hell. I was like, damn, girl, you didn't age. She's still fine as hell. Another woman who was interested in my writing, went out with her after a couple decades, went out with her a few years ago. We still cool. I can still pick up the phone and call her. You know, my co-parent, she's a writer. You know, we still good. We still, oh, trust me, we real good, right? So, I mean, look, but what was the common denominator with those women? It wasn't them. They don't look alike. They don't look nothing alike. They're all attractive, but none of them look alike. The common denominator was me. I was focused on my writing. As a man, you got to focus on what you're going to do, with the things you want to do, and who you are and everything. And then once you figure that out, the woman who fits into that, the woman who is in cooperation with your operation. And yeah, you want to get some women who reject you. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because after a while you get rejected, you should figure out which women aren't going to reject you. I don't care who you are. You know, even some guys out there who, you know, they approach will holler at different women. They'll figure out after a while, okay, which women are going to be receptive to whatever game that they're spinning. You know? And you got to think like that. You have to think like that. Which women? After a while, you can just look at the woman and say, oh, okay, she'll be something. Oh, she'll be receptive, or she wouldn't. And you should be able to just look. And when I say look at her, you should be able to look at her, how much makeup she wearing, what she doing, everything. That's the woman. That's the woman right there. You know? That is the woman, right? But I don't worry about the next man. If he get whoever, if he get a bunch of baddies, okay, fine. If he get a bunch of hood chicks, okay, fine. If that's not you, don't worry about it, all right? You do not worry about it. You focus on who you are and the woman that is in cooperation with your operation. Like that other man over there, he got a different operation. I don't care what he look like. I don't care what he doing, what he's saying. He got a different path from you. Because you got to think what type of woman is going to be down for what you are doing in life. Your main relationship is yourself. You got to figure out the woman who is down for that. Okay? I want y'all to remember that, all right? So anyway, that's all I have for today. Well, I keep saying that. Y'all know I'm going to do a car video, be like, yeah, like cursing and everything. Y'all know car Rom. Some of y'all prefer car Rom. Well, couch Rom. This is all for couch Rom for today, okay? So anyway, I'll get back with y'all. Peace and blessings.